in the scriptures, I think it's Habakkuk, the word says, encourages us to test the Lord or prove the Lord and to see what good things He can do for us. And in Daniel we have a similar thing where Daniel, under God's guidance, says to his captives to prove God, or rather to prove Him for 10 days, to prove the situation about just eating vegetables and water and drinking water rather than the royal food, because Daniel did not want to pollute himself with the sacrifices made to the gods. And he says to the leader there, to the guy who was looking after him, he says that please prove your servants, please test your servants for 10 days, and after that make a judgment then. And God encourages us as well to test Him, to prove Him. As I've already said in Habakkuk, He desires us to test Him, to prove Him. And this comes under the guise of persistence. And you know, this morning I was just having a quiet time, and I had a small object that was placed against the wall. It had been there for a while, and suddenly, unexpectedly, it fell down for no reason at all. Totally unexpectedly, it fell down and made me jump. And across the room there's a blow heater, and as it blows out the cold air, the warm air, it obviously vibrates a tiny little bit, but it's so small you would hardly notice it, and especially with a distance of probably a couple meters away, this object would barely be affected by it. Yet I'm guessing that day after day after day, week after week, that object was very, very, very slowly moving, sliding from its critical point of balance to falling over. If I was to look at that object with the heater going, blowing across, and those microscopic vibrations, I would not be able to see with the naked eye the fact that that object was moving, the fact that that object in a set time in the near future was going to fall down. And you know, this really encouraged me this morning about prayer, and how God wants us to be persistent in prayer. And my encouragement to you is to put together the combination of persistent prayer, proving God, and doing what Daniel got, proving God for a set time, in this case 10 days. You know, I encourage you to set aside each day, perhaps morning and evening, just 10 minutes to pray specifically for something that's so important to you. It may be a job, it may be a situation in your life, it may be a desire for new friends, a desire for a Christian friend of the opposite sex to do things and have fun times with. It could be a potential partner for the future. And at the moment this situation is just so hopeless and so rubbish. It's just not happening. There's nothing moving. You think, what's the point? Well, I ask you, as I encourage myself, to give God a chance and prove Him and test Him for 10 days. Set that time aside, morning and evening, to pray for 10 days. Give God a chance to work something out wonderful in this situation that you're in. And through persistent prayer, set times, morning and evening, for this set period of time, like Daniel did, to see if God will indeed change that situation around. If He doesn't, so be it. Then you know full well you just got to move on. But ask God that within those 10 days that you might see something happening, some changes happening in this situation, that would encourage you then to go on for the next period of prayer, whatever that might be that you feel in your heart to go for. But prove Him for 10 days. 10 days is a good time. And just maybe that extra amount of prayer that you're putting in, morning and evening, just maybe for 10 minutes each time, whatever you're able to do, would be like that tiny vibration moving that object, and suddenly, unexpectedly, the door opens. Suddenly, unexpectedly, the answer to your prayer comes. So I encourage you, test God, prove God for 10 days, and see what wonderful things He can do.